He thought he was just overlooking small, harmless warning signs, until one night he woke up tied to his own bed in his own house. This story shows how ignoring early red flags can almost cost someone his freedom, his child, and his health. Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a real story that shows how fast things can spiral when you ignore the warning signs. This guy seemed to have it all together. He was stable. Good job, his own apartment, his own car, no major debts. He even bought a small house on his own money, dreaming of a quiet family life away from the city noise. He met a girl who looked perfect on paper. Refined, sweet, great at keeping house. Said she loved kids. They had the full honeymoon phase. Romantic dates, nights under the moon, everything felt right. Only one tiny thing bothered him at the very beginning. During intimacy, he felt almost no grip, like being inside something too loose. He brushed it off as just physiology. First big red flag, ignored. They dated for 2 solid years. She was nice, no big demands. He felt ready for the next step, so they started meeting family. Turned out her only close relative was her mom. No siblings around, no grandparents really involved. Dad? Long gone. She said he was an alcoholic who abandoned them. Quick note here. Stories about "my dad was a drunk and left us" deserve extra caution. If a woman married an alcoholic anyway, that's already information. If the drinking started after marriage, even more telling. Don't dismiss these things lightly. This doesn't mean it applies to everyone, but patterns exist, and ignoring them is dangerous. About 2 years in, strange talks began. Suggestions to sell or exchange his house, the one he bought before marriage. Remember, property bought pre-marriage isn't joint, unless you mix funds or sell and buy new together. But the pressure kept coming, even from the mother-in-law. Then he learned the real reason. Her sister was being released from prison, group theft conviction. Nobody seemed excited about her return, not even the mom, but she moved in anyway. That's when everything changed. The house turned chaotic, mess everywhere. The child left unsupervised. The women sat in the kitchen for hours drinking beer, wine, vodka. His wife, who never smoked before, suddenly started lighting up. For months he watched this nightmare unfold. He tried talking. "This isn't okay. We have a kid. I can't sleep next to someone who smells like alcohol. And your sister, fresh out of prison, isn't someone I want around our child." They pushed back hard. Then he said enough. Divorce. Instead of hiding their behavior, they doubled down. Open drinking, total disregard. One evening he comes home, both women drunk on the kitchen, ignoring him completely. He asks about the child. At Grandma's. Rage hits. He packs their things, throws them out on the landing, tells them to leave. They start panicking. Fatal mistake. He turns his back for a second. Next thing, blackout. He wakes up tied to the bed, hands bound, feet bound. But the worst? Something lower was tied too, tight with his own shoelaces in a knot. If you catch my drift, this wasn't just restraint. Someone might say, "Oh, lucky guy." No, this wasn't luck. This was a near-miss hellish injury. Because in real life, when you're tied up down there, you're not a hero, you're a victim who can lose not just his mind, but his health. They stood over him, smirking. He prayed silently. Then, miracle. One knot loosened. In pure shock and fury, he broke free, lashed out in a blind panic. Chaos erupted, shouting, crashing. Neighbors called the police. When the police arrived, try to imagine what they walked into. The house looked like a disaster zone. Overturned furniture, broken objects, walls and floors stained red, the air thick with chaos. And in the middle of it all, a man with wild, unfocused eyes, shaking, barely able to explain what had just happened. From the outside, the scene spoke for itself. No context, no backstory, just a house in ruins and one person who looked completely out of control. So yes, the officers reacted hard. They restrained him immediately, assuming they were dealing with the primary threat. In that moment, you can understand why, because nothing about that scene looked safe or normal. Now, the lessons he wishes he learned earlier. These could have saved everything. First, problematic relatives will eventually become your problem. Blood is thicker than water. They pull each other in, and their chaos follows. Second, don't get blinded by the honeymoon phase. Fight the hormones. Don't ignore red flags. Use the Christmas tree strategy. Every red flag is a light on the tree. One or two may be okay. But when the whole tree is glowing, Christmas disaster is coming. Third, when booze and instability enter your home, especially around a child, don't wait for one more chance. Set hard boundaries immediately or walk away. Fourth, if talks about splitting your pre-marriage assets start early. Get a lawyer yesterday. That's not love talking. Fifth, in any moment where you feel trapped or threatened, fight to get out, scream, anything. No shame in surviving. This story is dark, but it's real. Ignoring red flags can cost you your freedom, your home, your child, even your health. What do you think? Have you seen similar patterns? Drop in the comments. Like if this helped, subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Stay safe out there.